there. Happy Friday. Where have I been? Oh, you might well ask. It's been a week. Oh, weeks. Yes, it's been one of those weeks. We've all get them, don't we? You've had them. I've had them. We've all had them. One of those weeks. Yeah. So that's where I've been. I'll tell you more in detail later. What am I wearing today? I'm wearing one of those blouses that I got from, it will not stay fastened, the button on the cuff. And I'm not very good at fiddling with my left hand to fasten it. It's one of those blouses I got when I went charity shopping in Cleveland. So I'm wearing it today with just a simple pair of, oh you can't see. Why can I never get this right? Other people back away from the camera and it shows everything. I don't. White trousers anyway. That's what I'm wearing it with. And a lovely necklace, if you can see it. One of my pretty ones. It's all shades of blues and things. Yeah, that's what I'm wearing it with. Anyway, where have I been? Well, if I'm looking a bit baggy-eyed and that, I've just been asleep actually. I was watching some YouTube videos, as I would want. I was actually watching Stitched by Mrs D. She's actually put a video out. She's had whooping cough of all things. Whooping cough. So, anyway, if you want one of her bags or her teddy bears, I think they're 6 o'clock tonight, which is about 10 to 6 at the moment, so you have to be quick. Because this video will go up after she's put them up. They're probably all sold out anyway. So she's had whooping cough. Her and her 2 daughters have had whooping cough. Not me one at all. My friend has had a cough forever and a day, and I said to her, do you think you've got whooping cough? She said, I don't know. She said, maybe I'm whooping. I can remember having whooping cough when I was a little girl. My mum used to take me. They were doing the road, and in the old days they didn't have these gizmos and fancy machines. They used to have a brazier, like a fire, where they used to warm the tarmac up on top of this brazier. They used to cook the sandwiches, well, the bacon and sausages as well. But mainly the priority was to heat the tarmac. Tarmacadam, I don't know what you call it in America. But we call it tarmac here. And it's like the surface of the road. So when I was little and I had this whooping cough, she used to take me to hang me over this. It's wonder I didn't get my eyebrows singed into it. She used to take me to hang me over this brazier. And since then, do you know, I've always loved the smell of tarmac. I mean, for about 9 years, I actually dated a guy who drove the tarmac wagon. He doesn't drive, well, in fact, I think he's retired now. But he doesn't drive one anymore. He went long distance lorry driving after his tarmac years. But I used to love going out with him. I think it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I used to go out with him for the day. Ah, I loved the smell of tarmac. It was like an aphrodisiac to me. Anyway, that is by the by. Where have I been? Well, you know that I've been suffering more than usual with backache. No, it's not a whingy whiny video. You don't have to turn it off right now. More than usual with backache. So I went to the GP and I said, could I have an x-ray? Because I thought I'd dislodged something. You know, I've got rod and pins in my back and all that jazz. Had the x-ray, nothing wrong. Anyway, while I was there, it was a GP. It was a lady GP. She examined what I think is a hernia. You know, the one that isn't a hernia. It's just your stomach muscles parting company. Can happen with women who've had children. Can happen with people who've had a huge weight gain. Hopefully neither of those have applied to me. But anyway, she said it wasn't a hernia. So I'd said to her, well, why do I keep being ill? Why do I keep being sick then? You know. Anyway, out of the blue, I think I told you last time I got this message to go for an ultrasound. And I'm like, which bit? Because he'd already told me that my hip had been deteriorating badly with the arthritis. So I thought, maybe they're going to have a prowl round the hip, you know, to see whether anything needs doing. Not that I really want an operation, but still. No, I gets in there. She said, we're doing your stomach. So I thought, oh, great. The hernia that's not a hernia might turn out to be a hernia. Anyway, she was very, they were lovely ladies. They really were. Very, very thorough. obviously knew what they were doing. My only complaint is that the bed is very, very narrow, and I'm not a very, very narrow lady. So turn this way, turn that way, turn on your side. I thought at any moment I was going to tip off onto the floor. They should have guardrails, you know, for the larger than life ladies. Excuse me. Anyway, she did all of this and all of that and all of the other. I was in there quite a while, really. And then she said, I need to really look at your ovaries. So I thought, fair enough, she'll scan a bit lower down. She said, no, would you consent to an internal? So I thought, yeah, okay. So she said, well, slip your things off. So I did. Cover yourself with a towel, which I did. And then she produced this thing that looked like a Star Wars wand. And I thought, oh, that is not what I was expecting. And she goes, don't worry, it's just the tip that has to go in. I thought, thank goodness for that. I said to her, you know, you realise it's been quite a lot of years since anything that shape came near me, you know. And anyway, she was very gentle, very gentle. So it was only the tip that went in, actually. So she said, oh yes, your ovaries are fine, which surprised me. I mean, at 78 years old and you've never had a womb for years, you'd sort of expect your ovaries to have curled up and died and shriveled and gone to heaven, you know. So, anyway, that was my whatever it's been. So, the upshot of it is I've got a big gallstone wedged, embedded in my gallbladder. So, it's not blocking the duct, but it is hovering nearby, which is why I keep getting this sickness and stuff. So I said, oh, well, they'll blast it, won't they? You know, like they'll zap it, like they do these days. She said, oh, no. Your doctor will ring you in a few days, she said, but my guess is they'll just take your gallbladder out. Eek! So I am hoping that when my gallbladder gets taken out its keyhole, you know, I don't want another bit of stitching to add to my complex stomach issues as it is, you know. So anyway, hopefully it'll be a keyhole surgery. Right, I shall go on and what shall I get to? Where did I get to with my iris? Oh right, I don't think I've said this bit, but maybe I did. If I did, I apologise. Yeah. She says, the way you dressed shows who you are and who you want to be. I want to be rich and famous. Do I dress that way? No, because I can't afford rich and famous clothes. The fashion police are not going to come and take you away. They might do in my case. And if they do, you might have some fun in jail. And she says her mother worshipped at the altar of the accessory. I just accessorise with beads. Very rarely change my earrings. But... oh, this is me. I'm a hopeless romantic. I buy things because I fall in love with them. Apart from a few mistakes, we've all made fashion mistakes, haven't we? Apart from a few mistakes, I do like most of the things I buy. The fun of getting dressed is it's a creative experience. This is definitely me. I'm not pretty, I will never be pretty, but it doesn't matter. I have something much better. I have style. Well, I hope I have. One never knows these days, does it? Depends what people view style. Yeah. I did get a book today, second-hand of course as usual, but it isn't exactly what I wanted. I wanted like woolen embroidery to embroider flowers and things on something I knitted or crocheted. But what actually come was a beautiful book, but it's not me. It's Deborah Gale, I don't know if she's called Teresa or Chirico, and it's called Gorgeous Wool Applique. And it's mostly done like felt, you know, you're embroidering or sewing felt onto things. which is very nice, but it isn't quite what I wanted. I wanted to know how to do leaves, flowers, you know, embroidered. I didn't want to have to cut them out in felt and stitch them on. There's one there for Jane if she's around. She loves nutcrackers. I can't see me making any of these, to be quite candid. It will probably drift its way onto somebody else. You know, the only one I sort of thought I might get around to is a little keyring. But even then you've got to buy all the felt, haven't you, and do it. I had a lovely book once which was a cardigan with really heavy woolly embroidery, and it gave you videos and everything on how to do this woolly embroidery. And I don't know what happened to it, as usual. It went the 4 ways and the 4 winds, yeah. So what have I been doing? Well, I finished my red cardigan, I'll show you that in a moment. I've been doing a little baby cardigan. You're trying to use some of my oddments up. This is a lovely silver grey. It's by Stylecraft, I think. It's by Stylecraft, and it's called, what's it called? Has it got a name? Silver. I said it was silver grey, didn't I? This pattern was one I got years and years ago off Ravelry, very, very in its infancy, from a lady called Lindy Carpenter. She's no longer around. She's withdrawn all the patterns that she's got off. But if you look on you look on YouTube, I think even Mikey from the Crochet Crowd did one, a basic. Because I could do with actually finding one that's a little bit bigger, because this one is turning out very small. I'll show you one I've finished. It's more for a preemie, or if you like dolls, reborn dolls, or for a little preemie. That's what it is. It's the basic little cardigan, top down, but I like to trim it. This little stitch isn't on the pattern. It's not even done in a different colour on the pattern. And I like to put my signature little flowers on it. And it's got just little sort of grey mother of pearl buttons on it. So it's just a tiny little thing. But I would like to make one similar style but larger. And I did buy quite a few patterns from Etsy, which I haven't printed out. And another of my woes of this week is that blinking computer. It keeps switching itself off and nobody can find out what's wrong with it. It's obviously some kind of intermittent break, maybe in wiring of some description. We don't know where, we don't know how. It went off about 15 times yesterday, which annoys me intensely, which means that maybe I can't upload this video, you never know. So I charged my camera through the PC, so that means this camera will probably go at any moment now, because that's not charged up either. Oh, it's a tale of woe, isn't it? Anyway, if you want something like this, there's 1,000,001 little top-down, very, very basic cardigans on YouTube, yeah. I need to find one that's a little bit bigger, because that's come out a little bit tinier. But then again, I think I'm crocheting a lot tighter than I used to. Because I used to use that pattern, and I swear they used to come out a lot bigger. But anyway, that's another matter, isn't it? And I finished the red glitter cardigan. You can see it. No pattern, so don't say what pattern is it, what size is it, because there isn't one, yeah. And I managed to find 7 little square buttons in the shed. So of course, I always look for buttons first to see what I've got in the shed, and then I do how many buttonholes I've got buttons for, if you're with me. It's more annoying than if you make 8 buttonholes and find you've only got 7 buttons, which is what I only had. In this case, I only had 7 buttons. So that's why, you know, if you have a stash of buttons, look at the buttons first before you decide to do the buttonholes, because you can always adjust, can't you? So anyway, that's it. It's done in a simple, I call it like a fan pattern. I think people call it a shell pattern. It's like 5 my trebles, UK trebles, into one space, and a UK double crochet into the next, and on the row after you alternate it. It's my favourite stitch because although I love to crochet, I do like a together stitch that acts more like knitting. In other words, it keeps you warmer. These holy things are alright if you live somewhere warm, but if you live somewhere where I live, you need a bit of extra warmth. Anyway, it was red glitter. I think I showed you the yarn, didn't I, when I was on my last video, but it's been that long ago I did the last video. I forgot what I actually said to you. It's been over a week, I think, since I made the video. Oh gosh, look at the baggy eyes. Ah, terrible. I look like Marley's ghost, don't I? Oh gosh. This is what happens when I'm not well. I sleep, get bags under my eyes, and I go as pale as a ghost, yeah. So I just rescued me washing off the line because it's, I don't know whether you know the expression, it's blowing for rain. I always feel when it's going to rain, it's blowing for rain, it really is. Trees are blowing, I go cold. I don't know why. The minute I feel rain's coming, I go extremely cold, yeah. I have to go and shut all the windows and close the doors, yeah. If you're wondering why it's so quiet, it's because the doggies are away. They're in Scotland at the moment. No doubt enjoying playing with. I think it's another dog that they play with when they go up there. But that's where they'll be. That's where they are. So whether or not this video will upload or not is a bit like Hobson's choice, isn't it? You know. I mean, to charge up the camera, I have to sit there and hold it to get the little red light that says it's charging to stay on. I've tried sticking it with sellotape, I've tried doing all kinds of things, and it's the internal bit of the camera that's gone. I have another camera, as I said before, but can I work it? I cannot. It's supposed to be the same as this one, but it's not. And at the moment I don't really feel like splashing out for a new PC, well, a new box thing, or a new camera, and a new camera, I should say. It's a lot of expense that I don't really want to spend, yeah. Oh dear, oh, to be rich and famous. I'm not either, sadly. Not rich, not famous, not even infamous. I mean, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Being infamous for a while, yeah. Being notorious, known for something that you have done. Sadly, my life has been quite, well, not boring, but you know what I mean. Middle of the road, middle of the road. Had its ups and downs, but nothing ever tragically bad, yeah. No, never been involved in a train robbery or anything like that. The only time I had my name in the papers was when I got married. I think that's the only time. You used to put your weddings in the paper back in my day. Little picture, bride and groom, little bit of bump underneath. So that everybody knew you got married, yeah. No doubt they'll put, well, I don't know whether they will. People don't seem to put the deaths in the paper anymore, do they? Maybe so. Maybe I might get my death in the paper when it's my turn to go. I'd be really cheerful, aren't I? I've only got a gallstone, you know. Well, a few. But one big one that's causing havoc. My friend said, oh, if you've got gallstones, you'll know about it. The pain's tremendous. But to be honest with you, when you're in so much pain all the time that I'm in, a little bit more doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Yeah. But I'm not going to whinge about that. We've all got problems, haven't we? We've all got some. I think I built a high tolerance to pain over the years, you know. I mean, it's been what? Oh, gosh, more years than I mentioned since I've had my back done. And I was in so much pain beforehand. Probably at least 20 years. It's actually longer since I actually started with back issues. They started with the birth of my son, who is now 55. I think I told you they cracked my pelvis when he was born. Yeah. I can't complain, at least he came out alive, you know, which they said he was in danger of not. So I've got to thank the lucky stars I got one thing good out of it, if you know what I mean. But they did crack my pelvis at the time. And then many, many years later, I was going to the bin, the dustbin, trash bin, whatever you want to call it, in the backyard. And my ex-husband was washing Well, he wasn't my ex at the time. My husband was washing the car at the front with the hose pipe, which was attached to a tap, an external tap. And just as I stepped over this hose pipe to get to the bin, he pulled it. I mean, he didn't do it on purpose because he couldn't see. He was up front and he couldn't see me at the back. But it was just sod's law, whatever they call it, that just as I was stepping over this hose pipe, he pulled it to get more length to clean the other side of the car, presumably. So I went straight over it. Boy, I couldn't move. I could not move. I just couldn't. So my dad, bless his heart, he had an appointment for the osteopath the day after. So he said, take my appointment, you need it more than I do. So he drove me to, the osteopath, and he did sort me out a little bit, but I think that was the start of the rot, Once you've damaged your back and made your way, it just goes downhill from there on. And at my tender, sweet young age, of course, I'm riddled with arthritis now, It's the courtesy of living where it's cold and damp. They used to call it the curse of the north, Everybody where I lived before, it's near the Pennines where they get all the rain. Well, I thought they got all the rain till I moved here. I think we get more rain here than we ever got in the Pennines, but that's by the by. But it does affect you, Obviously, if I'd have been born in the south of France or somewhere lovely and warm, maybe I wouldn't have it. I don't know. Is arthritis just purely because of cold and damp? Or do any of you who live in sunny climes, lovely, hot, gorgeous climes, get arthritis as well? People have been saying in this UK, whoa, isn't it hot? Oh, it's immensely hot. And I'm like, bring it on. It's not hot to me. It's warm, pleasantly warm. 80 degrees. Love it. Love it. Lead me to it. Maybe if I was experiencing 100 degrees, I might actually break into a sweat. But I'm beginning to wonder if I've got that, what is it called, hypothyroidism, where you don't sweat. Because to be honest with you, I don't. I mean, obviously I have a shower and I spray deodorant and that, but it's never really needed if you're with me. I never drip. Oh, I obviously forgot to turn the phone off, didn't I? Naughty me. I never, drip sweat or anything like that. Well, no, we ladies don't sweat, do we? We gently glow, yeah. So I don't gently glow anywhere, really. No, I'm very together. Oh, I bought a new perfume. I'm still jury's out whether I like it or not. Hang on a minute, let me show you. Let me show you. It's called Lovely by Sarah Jessica Parker. Funnily enough, I haven't put the perfume on today. Let's have a little look in the box. It's a pretty little thing, isn't it? Very, very delicately pink, but you can't see it obviously. Lovely by Sarah Jessica Parker. I read a good review about it, so I bought it. I don't buy many perfumes actually, but this was on special offer. You know me, cheap. It's not that bad. It's a bit floral for me actually. I prefer more earthy. I normally wear things like Paco Rabanne aftershave, would you believe, and CK1 aftershave. I normally don't wear perfume that's designated for a lady. I know, I'm weird. But I tend to like the more woodsy kind of scents that you normally get with a man's aftershave. Yeah. My favourite of all time is Penhaligon, who is, or was, the perfumier to the Queen, the late Queen, and Prince Philip. And there's one called Quercus, which I absolutely adore. It comes in a beautiful bottle, but it's £100 and something. I bought this one a long time ago, when it wasn't £100 and something. Oh, and I just dropped it. it, but fortunately it didn't break. Yeah. It's called Quercus, and this comes in a very sweet little bottle. Very sweet little bottle, like an apothecary's bottle. Very sweet. I love it. The only problem is it's so delicate. Oh, it's so delicate it doesn't last. You know, you're forever squirting it on you. Unlike something like Poison or something like that that smells the whole street out for days when somebody walks by. I don't like heavy perfumes, I really don't. You know, there's a few in the Poison's one of them. They actually give me migraines. I can't bear to be near anybody who's wearing it. My mother's favourite was Estee Lauder Used To. And it smelled lovely on my mother. But I must have an acidic skin. Because I went into Kendall Mills, which is no longer there. It was a big posh store in Manchester. And this lady's like, can I spray you with this? I said, you can spray me with it. But I will come back in half an hour and I will let you see what it smells like. And she goes, no, it'll be lovely. And she, you know how they do. These ladies with the 1.5 inches of makeup on, you know, they must get up about 3 hours before they need to go out to put all this slap on. Oh no, it'll be fine, she said. I said, well, I'll go in the cafe and I'll have a coffee and I'll come back. So I came back and I went under her nose and she went, oh my God, she said, hang on a minute, I got a wet wipe somewhere. So she scrubbed it off my hand and everything. She said, don't tell anybody that was used to. I said, it's perfectly fine. I said, my mother wears it. Well, she did wear it, she passed away by then. I said, my mother wore it. I said, and it smelled gorgeous on my mother. I said, but on me, and it just smelt for all the world like cat wee. I'm not joking, it was cat wee. She said she'd never known anybody had a reaction, you know, to the perfume like that. I said, oh, it happens all the time with me. That's why when I go anywhere and I fancy a perfume, I always say, I'll go and have a walk around first. Oh, there's my phone telling me to shut up. I always say, I'll go and have a walk around first. I cannot buy it just on that first squirt, because it will change. And it does. Anyway, thank you for keeping me company, and I do hope this uploads on Friday, otherwise you might be seeing it Saturday, Sunday, or even Monday. So we'll hope for the best and keep our fingers crossed. So like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. I will eventually answer comments if I can get my PC to stay on long enough. I do read them, but you know, whether I answer them or not is another matter. As soon as I go, haha, it goes, oof, it goes off. So anyway, yeah, the thumbs up do matter actually. You know, it helps to raise my profile. And the subscription is entirely free. I don't charge you for anything at all. You get the pleasure of my company. Not for free. Anyway, I will see you very soon, hopefully with something else to show you. I don't know what I'm going to start now. I was going to go into the shed. I may tiptoe over across there before it starts to rain. So see you very soon. Bye for now.